Welcome back, man.
Hey,
Welcome. What's going on, Hank?
shit, not much, bro. Chilling, feeling good. How you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. Can't complain, bro.
Hey, all right,
All right. In
bring us
order to
in.
take account, I'm gonna bring him in, Hank, man. In order to take accountability for what has passed and what will be, there's no time like presently. So, for those with mouths and ears, can we have a moment of your time? We want to gain some perspective. Can we have a piece of your mind? All right,
All
Heck,
right.
man. Glad to be back, man. Made it
Oh
through
yeah,
another week.
this
Made it
feels
through another
good.
week, man.
Indeed, indeed. Um, I don't know what's going on. There's a delay. I'm seeing a pretty big delay on my end.
Yeah, I don't think we gotta worry about that, right? It's supposed to fix itself up by the time we.
Maybe we'll see what's up. Yeah, but shit. Just in our pre-discussion, you was telling me, Frank, that you reset. You did a hard reset. And so I want to hear about your week. I want to hear how it's been good, but I need to hear more on this reset, bro. That
Oh, okay, all
sounds
right.
like
So,
something profound happening there, man.
all right. So, yeah, I did a hard reset in my workspace. Again, I was inspired like maybe a week or two ago by Eugene Swartz. I was hearing him. I was watching a lecture on him. He was just talking about his process when he's getting ready to do his thing, copyright. And when he was explaining his process, man, it sounded very much like he was talking about his laboratory, like where
Mm,
he placed his pens was with intention.
mm,
Where he had a cup for his coffee as on the table. You know what I mean? His space was just set up intentionally, like, and I want to be more intentional with my space. So going through the week and picking up new things that need to be done for the business, I kind of ran into this moment where my head just felt like heavy with thoughts,
okay.
and I took that, instead of like beating myself up, I took that moment to like, just kind of like start with my room. Like I decluttered. And when I declutter, like when I go through my room and I'm doing my decluttering, and I do this often too. I do it like once a month. Um, I'll like look around at things and like things that I like just haven't been useful in the past since the last time I used it, or like I'm not seeing any further use from it. I get it out of here. Like it's taking up space. I want everything around me to be intentional. So I did a hard reset on my room, man. I shift everything around. I moved my whiteboard. As you guys can see, I'm a little closer to the wall. You can't see my mirror. That's because
Mm-hmm.
I moved my desk. Um, yeah, and I just wanted to make it a little more intentional. I want to make it feel a little more like an office. And yeah, I like what I'm liking what I'm seeing, man.
I like
It's
that,
looking
bro.
very intentional in here, man.
That's cool, man. Because like as you said, just even like putting your drink somewhere, man. I never knew. It's one of those again. We do this a lot up on here, Frank. We talk about something and then we don't necessarily know that that's a thing until someone else says it or someone puts a name on it or something. But I do
Yeah,
that too. Like with my drinks, like I don't put my drinks right in front of me because like if something happens and I got to react or I got to reach for something, I might spill the drink. So I think about, okay, you know what? I need to be intentional with where I'm placing it so that every time I go to reach just for my drink, I'm reaching for it with intent. It's out of the way, but it's accessible. And so just as something as simple as that, man, that's pretty cool, bro, to be able to do that, to think like that. Everything's got to have a spot to be in a home, if you will. Everything's got to be put in a place with intention behind it so that it doesn't feel cluttered. It doesn't feel inaccessible or even too
functional.
accessible. Yeah,
It's more
definitely
functional.
functional.
Made
Because
functional, yeah.
you put a whole package of Oreos right in front of you, man. Bye bye Oreos. Yeah,
Word.
but you put the Oreos up in the
and
snack cabinet. You got to go all the way to the snack cabinet to get some Oreos,
by,
kind of shit.
by the time I get to the under the Oreos, I'm gonna be like Patrick on that time he thought SpongeBob ate his chocolate.
Yeah.
Hey, he ate all of his chocolate. He said, "Hey, you ate my chocolate." I ain't eat your
Yeah.
chocolate, bro. I ain't eat your chocolate,
Okay,
Patrick. What are
Patrick,
you talking
man.
about?
I love Patrick, bro. But yeah, function, man. I like that, bro. Because for me at least, I like to operate in the style of a minimalist. I don't like a whole lot of things, bro. Like the less for me, the better. And then I
Simplicity.
make, the simplicity behind it. I feel like then I can use those things creatively because I don't have too much shit in front of me. Now I got to figure out how to use them all. If I have one thing, I got to master that one thing. And so I don't know. I like that concept though, bro. And I like the idea that you do that frequently, bro. That's really cool. So that's your reset, right? That's how you reset by resetting your space. You may reset your thought process, eh?
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. You know, and then the things that like when I do this reset, like okay, if I know that I don't know, I needed to get to the mail. I
Mhm.
haven't been getting to my mail. I know I need to get to the mail. I do the reset. I clear off my desk, but I take the stack of mail. I put it right in my desk. I can't miss it. Then you know what I mean.
Mhm.
You know, but it's easy. Like when you kind of like let life get away on you. You know, it's kind of easy to like you leave a cup of Dunkin' Donuts sitting on the end of your desk. You just I haven't moved it in a few days. You know, it's like just clearing that, just getting it out the way, and then putting something there that needs to be there.
Mhm.
It makes a world of a difference. You know what I mean? It feels good.
I
It
believe it,
feels
bro.
good.
And I've been able to
Eh,
practice that in some ways too, so I know for sure it feels good. And that's cool to be doing something like that with intent, bro. You know, we talk about that too. Being intentional with anything and everything we do moving forward now. Especially since we picked up the task of being accountability partners for one another. I know that that works for you, decluttering, and I've always known that it's worked for me, but I've never done it with intent beyond other than I just don't want to deal with it later. So
Yeah,
now that I'm, kind of in the mind frame of like, that's a good way to reset, good way to just have everything around me be exactly what I need in that moment. That's cool, man. I
yeah.
like
You know,
that.
I plan on making some content about how I made my room like intentional because again, that's one of the things I'm going to be pitching as my for my handyman service. Is like, yo, make your room functional for what it is that you're trying to obtain.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If I want to be a karate master, I'll make a little spot for a dojo and just get a mat, just a little square mat, man. That's where I
That's
practice my
it.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what I mean. I definitely try to move with intention, and you know what, Hector? Um, it is. It's. I feel like it's a huge difference when you like okay, so, okay. I know how to assemble. I know how to assemble things, right?
Mhm.
I'm just good at it, right? But then I try to get intentional. And when I try to put some intent behind it, now I'm like laser focused on
Mhm.
learning something new about assembly. You get what I'm saying? It makes you a little better when you put a little intent behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
It makes
I agree.
yeah,
I agree with that 100%, bro. And that's something that's applicable to everything we do, bro. To reading a book, to knowing our best way to read a book, kind of like how you were talking about last week. You got to preview it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Um, to your day-to-day job, you come in, what's the best way to be efficient? Do I check my emails every day? Do I just get right into the work queue from where I left off, kind of thing? Um, does it come down to taking notes? Do you write your notes down? Are you doing some videography, recording yourself? Are you just recording audio? All of that shit, that laser precision is so important because then you can go ahead and focus up and find the best way for something to work for you. And it's funny too, because at work, I work with lasers. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like my job, I've got to be like pretty profound with, or rather proficient with how I speak to the computer. Make sure that everything I'm doing is translating perfectly well. Because if I make one mistake, then the machine's going to make that mistake because I told it to. Um, and so I have to, be very precise with what I'm doing, in my day to day. And I take a lot of that back home with me, in terms of like I like being focused. I am the guy that likes plans, and I can live in the realm of spontaneity, but like you give me time to focus, man, and I'm gonna fuck shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna get it because
yeah,
that's just how my brain works. I like being able to plan something and then come at it with all the perspective I've been able to gather, and then just kind of that intention behind it too. So yeah, man, that's dope, and I hope a lot of people can, find ways for that to benefit. And I'm excited to see the content you create for that, bro, because I think that that's an incredible tool, not just for your living space, man, but just for living life. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I,
yeah.
I like that, bro.
Well, you might as well start at home, man. If you got it right at
Mm-hmm.
home base, man, imagine what you could do when you out there.
Hell yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You organize at home, you could be organized everywhere in the world. Like,
everywhere.
but it's dope, man.
That's
And
what's
you know
up.
what? learning your process. You
Mm,
know how they there was an old saying I used to always hear: trust the process, right?
mm,
Trust the process. And like I feel like I had an aha moment this week, right? Because with this whole me and you being on this intention thing, doing things with intentionality, I
mm,
started thinking like, yo, you know what? I want to be more intentional about like studying how, what's the fastest way that I learn? Like, how do I really like take in information? So I've really been like doing a lot of reflecting this week
mm,
and thinking about how I learn, or I started trying to watch the YouTube videos and that way you was just talking about the preview, read, you know what I mean? I try to
yep,
start doing that. And I noticed like, yo, I'm like, I was having a lot of aha moments when I was watching these videos now, like because I'm trying to do it with a little more attention. I'm trying to watch videos where I can I could kind of follow along. It's they
yep.
have doable action steps and stuff like that. So in this process, I kind of like noticed that one day I kind of like just felt funky. I felt like in a bad mood. But when I took a step back and really thought about like why I was feeling this way is because my mind was clouded. I just took in a bunch of information. It wasn't until I did this brain dump, and then I realized I started doing this whole process. I did this brain dump, right? And then after I did the brain dump, I recorded everything I put down on the piece of paper, and I noticed like this whole process is how I was like really like taking in the information. So anyway, I had this aha moment about trusting the process, and what I learned
Mm,
was is before you could in order to build yourself up to trusting the process, which is your own process, how you learn, you first have to learn your process.
mhm.
Once you learn your process, know your process, like know how you operate. Once you know your process, just trust your process. You just trusting it. Like, you know what I
Yep.
mean? You know how you work. You know how you work best. It don't have to be, it doesn't have to be, everything don't have to be so formal. It don't have to be so standardized. If you don't, if writing in a standardized linear fashion is boring to you, then take your notes however you take
Mhm.
them. You scribble on the board if that's what, if you doodle, if you're a doodler, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But just understand that's just part of your process. That's how you learn, you know?
So, I like that because I'm one that's I've always kind of questioned the system. You know what I'm saying? I've always kind of wondered, is it as efficient as it could be? Is it has it been really thought out? Because when we hear trust the process, more often than not, we're talking about someone else's process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, so like when you talk about trusting your own process, well, it takes one to be in that mindset to be like, yeah, you know what, I am aware that there are certain ways things work. Let me find what's better suited for me and mine, and then I'm going to go ahead and kind of do that. Along the way, I'm going to go ahead and refine, you know what I'm saying? But when it's someone else's process, to just trust it blindly, that process, like let me go ahead and explain it like in a way where most people can understand. So like you've got the writer, right? And then you've got the illustrator. So the illustrator can only illustrate what the writer writes. So if the writer has a specific way that they provide detail, um, that's pretty abstract, it's going to be hard for the illustrator to follow along. You can't draw what you can't see, kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's the job of the writer to make sure that it's not only efficient, it's not this cluttered up mess that's hard to follow, but it's got to be right to the point, and it's got to have the necessary detail to get that picture to be drawn. So if one person fails, you're setting the other up for failure too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like you think about that, like you apply that to like teachers and students, or someone at work. One person's in charge of creating, the other person's in charge of putting it together, kind of thing. We have these systems of reliance where we do have to depend on someone else to do what they're supposed to do. So when we trust the system, we have to first make sure that the system and the process has already been refined. And if it hasn't, then that kind of sets you up for failure, man. And I'm one that I like to ask questions. I like to see, okay, what are we doing? Are we doing the
Yeah.
best we could possibly be doing? Or are you looking at it from just your point of view and forgetting that, we got this other person that has to be involved, and then this other person, and then suddenly you've got all these other people that need to be involved in this process, but it only works. It's only tailored and catered to one. So that's
Yeah.
when you got to really question and refine it to kind of extend those bridges and get everything to be connected, going full circle. It matters to trust the process, but it matters more, in my opinion, at least, bro. I think that you have to be aware that if there is one, then look to refine it no matter what. Even if you think it's perfect, keep trying to refine it, man. There might be more ways. And that's
Yeah.
something that I like to do. And then, yeah, just like you said,
You,
bro, just kind of being mindful that it exists. And, once you find that way, you dabble with that a little bit, and you explore that, because that's important too. Without a plan, without a process, man, you're not doing shit, you know?
you know what, man? I could even speak from a different perspective on trusting the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's processes that, like, let's go back to processes that was already made with, with the intention of you using, right?
Mm-hmm.
Made by somebody else. A lot of times it's easier to follow somebody else's process. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I and sometimes I have a very lazy nature. Don't make me think. Like, I don't even want to think. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But to find your own process, to figure out your own process, it forces you to think. You know what I mean? If the linear thing wasn't working for me, I was trying to do somebody else's process, but it wasn't working for me. Okay, well, now it's time to get creative. Sometimes creative work for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, am I in the mood for creative right now? Like, I don't feel like thinking about it. I don't feel like
Right.
figuring it out. You know what I mean? But I'm learning that I have to just kind of like trust. I have to trust myself a little bit. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a thinker anyway. You know what I mean? So I think things through.
Yep.
And sometimes I would think it through and still go look for what somebody else is saying. Once I come
Mm-hmm.
to my own solutions, you know what I mean? Just try that. Try it the way you was thinking, Frank. Trust yourself. Trust your process. This is what you feel is right. Do what you feel.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? So that was definitely one of my problems. So I mean, yeah, I think that was a different perspective on like the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I agree with it, bro. Because yeah, it's hard work to not only to recognize that a process is necessary, but then it is really hard to establish one. Because you got to come at it from a lot of different perspectives, and if you're lacking perspective or that willingness to even do something about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, that's a good thing to do. Because we have a process. Like when we come up with on here for this podcast, we've got our own particular set of procedures and steps that we follow along in order to get things work in certain ways. And then we're always trying to implement new process, so we're always in the stage of refinement. Um, and for the podcast, at least, bro, I feel like this is a much easier way for us to do it, because there's two minds here working towards that same goal. So
Yeah.
when you are just one mind working at a goal that doesn't feel like I don't know if I can do this, but you still have that gumption and that willingness to try.
Hey,
Like, yeah,
hey,
you,
Hector, imagine if it was 3 minds, bro. Imagine if it was 4 minds,
yeah,
man. Guys, we want to build a community, man. It's
yeah,
coming soon. I know I keep talking
yeah.
about it, but it's coming soon.
That,
Start building up
yeah,
the community, man.
I'm glad you brought that up, bro, because it's that whole collaboration, man. I saw something not too long ago. It's like, competition exists usually at the base level, where the collaborations, that's happening up at the top. Um, and I feel like I can agree with that in some regard, man. Like, collaboration does exist more so with people that don't feel like they need to compete with others. Um, and I'm all for competition, man. Competition, healthy competition. I like competition that breeds, like just some sort of desire to create, to build, that fuels that passion. I like that kind of competition. And I love collaboration. So if we came in with competitive nature, but with the extent, or the goal rather, to collaborate for the end result, man, I feel like we'd be able to achieve so many different things that just were inconceivable beforehand. Because, like you said, one mind coming in, I got to do me for mine, but then we got two minds. Okay, let's work together to make something solid. And the more you keep adding to that, man, you add more to this helix, bro, and then this shit just becomes incredibly powerful. You have so many different perspectives covered. You have so many different experiences. And so many ways to deliver something because you've got all these minds working towards that thing. So I like that, bro. Collaboration, um, it's important, man. And being up on here is, we're trying to instill that collaborative nature in one another, but then we're trying to extend outward too, trying to bring in more kind of thing. And I like that collaborative nature almost anywhere I'm at, bro. I like it at work. I like it at home. I like it being up on here. Just working together, just putting those like minds together, man. I feel like we do achieve a lot more, and it's cool to see the results of that shit too. So I'm with that, man.
Yeah.
But as far, so shit, that was quick, bro. 20 minutes in already. Like we just barely got out of your week, bro. But no,
For real.
I like the room reset. I like the collaborative nature. I feel like all of that stuff these are things that do kind of help drive some success. And again, we talked about it a bunch of times before, man. Success looks different for all of us. But I feel like there are some key components that are very similar in nature to success across the board, bro. And I feel like having that mental reset and that ability to acknowledge, what you need in order to proceed, in order to make progress and find procedure, and then having a collaborative nature over the competitive nature, man, I feel like that brings in a lot more success for more people. And that's kind of dope to be able to talk on that, man, because that, like, at least for one of the topics I wanted to kind of touch on today was the idea of culture. And kind of that full circle, culture is something where a bunch of like-minded people can agree to the rules, if you will, of what encompasses this thing that everybody has familiarity with, and everything that like that we like. So like if we talked about like Nickelodeon in the 90s, in my mind, I could tell you right now, I could guarantee you'll name one of the 3 shows I have in my mind. If I was just to like, go name 3 shows from the 90s, I know I'm going to get one of them at the very minimum. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a culture. We all grew up in that. We all kind of had this thing. And then, you and I kind of connecting the way we did, we were able to kind of see something through a very similar lens. And so these things mattered a lot to us, and then we carried them into our lives, kind of thing, growing up, being men, being fathers. And so that idea of culture, I feel like, is one of those things where that's very prominent.
Yeah.
Having those very familiar keys to success, man, and that's why it became a culture, because a lot of people were able to kind of get behind those kinds of things.
Okay.
And so this little piece right here is a bit of culture, if you will. And I'll get into that in a little bit too. But yeah, bro, I'm with
Let's
it.
get into it now, man. Tell us about the culture of that piece there, man.
So this is this is a traditional Japanese style, man. I love Japanese anything, bro. Just tradition, anime, just how they are, their
Bring that a little closer
formalities,
for us, man.
how they talk to people, bro. I'm with all that. So this is again, it's a Japanese art style, and it's called ikebana.
Ikiban?
Ikebana.
Ikebana.
Ikebana. So the ikebana art style, what that pretty much is like, so if you notice, you see like a bunch of like flowers, and they're kind of insinuating like movement. Like this guy looks like he's moving. So the ikebana art style, man, it's an art style that talks, or not talks, but rather it's an art style where a lot of what is like happening in that particular style is just they have a heavy focus on movement. So you see the guy, he's kind of moving, it looks like there's movement happening. There's traditionally, ikebana has something to do with like flowers, or branches and leaves and kinds of things. And so that's what this guy has got going on here. Is just an arrangement. This dude is moving, so that fluidity, that motion is coming through, and where you can actually appreciate that style. So if you look up ikebana, you'll see a lot of flowers, and you'll see a lot of movement. You'll feel it, and so I put my own twist on there. I got this hooded rogue warrior kind of thing. We grew up in the with watching a whole bunch of movies, back in the
Or
day
that look like a red Sub-Zero or something over there,
right,
man.
yeah, something like that. Exactly. It's just,
Slash
dudes out
Raiden or
here.
something with that hat on, man.
Exactly, yo, because we grew up in that age, man. We grew up in the age where, yeah, we got to watch a bunch of kung fu movies growing up. We got to watch and listen to all sorts of Wu Tang and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
they
nah,
was all
Wu-Tang was
about stuff like that. Um, and so yeah, just kind of that this is something that was inspired from childhood, man. Just because I never really knew what it was called, man, but I knew I loved that style, bro. I love that Far East movement and the culture that the Far East brought to the world, and I love their literature, I love their history, all that kind of shit, man. So it just
You
be
know what, heck, man, I could talk about culture like from a visual aspect. Like,
mm,
I do enjoy seeing different things. Do enjoy seeing different outfits when
mm-hmm,
when they're putting on certain when they're celebrating certain holidays, like different different nationalities, different people from different places. I like seeing all of that, right?
yeah, yep,
But I want to tell you about the first time I ever felt a culture, bro. Like really felt
mm,
it, right? So again, I feel like I was blessed to be born. I'm a half Dominican, half Afro American, right?
mm-hmm,
So my mother's from here, my dad's from the islands. This little island called Dominica, and I got to spend the summer out there one year. And I mean, my island family's here, and I'll tell you the way the island family loves is different from the way my American family love. Like I
mm-hmm,
still understand love no matter how it's presented to me, but they love differently. And but when I really went to Dominica and St. Thomas, man, and I got to stay out there. I was young, but I got to stay out there for like the whole summer, man. And I was out there, like people be like the kids would like race and they will race barefoot. So I'll take my shoes off and I'll be racing barefoot, like you know what I
right,
mean. I got to go explore and enjoy the cultures, like the way they greet you there was different because it's a small island as opposed to like the big old US, man. You
yep,
got a person next door, but they won't even say hi to you over here. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But over
yep,
there is like everything is like it feels very family. You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? Um, you know how I say it takes a village to raise a child. I felt
yep,
like over there it really felt like that. You know what I mean? So I got to experience that, and I think that was just kind of eye opening, mind opening for me to experience as a kid, man. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what? I want to encourage anybody else who has some kind of other culture in their family. Like, yo, give your kids a taste of it, man. Take away the phones,
mm-hmm,
man. You know what I mean? Go bring them to the island, take away the phone, and make them go climb the tree for that mango, man.
yeah. That's I like I like that, bro, because um, being a Hispanic male, man, growing up in Connecticut, like yeah, like the culture was there, it was definitely around. Um, but growing up where I did, it was kind of wasn't a whole lot of room to really explore and express. You know what I mean? It felt like we just had to kind of be mindful of where we were and kind of like fit in, if you will.
Yeah, yeah,
So I didn't really get to appreciate a lot of my own culture when I was younger, man. But as I grew older, I got to be more familiar with more cultures around the world. So again, you got a traditional Japanese art style that I've seen several things, and I made my own little go at it. Um, Different music, being introduced to different cultures, music. You know what I'm saying? Um,
yeah. Music,
and
man.
and and culture.
Forgot to
Let me
mention
just
Carnival, bro. Speaking of
yeah,
music,
yeah, right. So that's a big one too, for real. But culture, I don't want to only think about it like in the realm of ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? Like culture, like there's a whole culture of Pokemon, bro. Followers that grew up with Pokemon.
yeah,
Like I was literally having this conversation just the other day with my stepdaughter, bro. We were talking about Pokemon, and she said something about like maybe not everybody knows Pokemon. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't really know if there's anyone alive that probably doesn't know what Pokemon is.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Back
saying? Like
I
It's been
respected it more
around,
back when they only had 150 though. Okay, I don't know where
dude.
they at, like 1,000 and something
Oh,
now,
oh,
but.
just about or something like that. It's a little too much for me now,
Hmm.
but yeah, man, it's something that continues to grow and it continues to talk to the generations that keep coming. So, our generation, we were the first to be blessed with that. And then everybody else after kind of gets their own little taste of it, and it's growing and it's being refined, and they found their process, bro, and they're delivering that consistently. So that's why they're upwards of like 900 something over what, 20 something years. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty dope, to be honest. So you look at all the games, all the swag, all the animes, all the different things that
yeah,
were created.
yeah,
So when I think culture, I want to think in that regard too, not just ethnicity, because ethnicity is dope, man. Like, being able to be Hispanic and understand what, the pride behind the Puerto Rican flag is, and then having some understanding of reggaeton and why it's such a cultural movement. But then I like to think of, yeah, you got all your anime heads out there that, Digimon or Pokemon, what's your poison kind of thing? You know what I'm saying? There's
yeah.
culture with that too.
Yo,
Um,
culture shift from city to city, bro. Like
hell yeah.
what it feels like here in Bridgeport, like it feels totally different than when you're like, I don't know, in Times Square in New York at nighttime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just the
Yep.
way people move, the way they like, yo. Matter of fact, just watching them cross the street is different. Like they see the little guy telling them to walk. They don't even look up. They don't look at the cars. They just go. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
And
Over
that's
here,
it.
I'm shifty
Dude.
eyed out here. Like yo,
Bro, I'll be looking left and right on a one way, bro. Like you you're not gonna catch me slipping
yo,
like
it
that.
just
No
seems like
way.
that's the thing in New York. Don't even look up. Just
Mm-mm.
walking.
And yeah, that's part of that culture, man. That's for real. That's part of their environment. That's something they do. It's because we all work within a certain set of rules, man. We got to kind of confine ourselves to it. And so, yeah, man, that culture can exist on different blocks, bro. I remember growing up, where we were, you move, 3 or 4 blocks over, you're in Black Rock. It's a whole different neighborhood, a whole different
Yeah,
town.
yeah,
Everything is different over there, just from where we were.
yeah. Move at a different pace and everything. Yep.
Everything for real. So it's just wild. Culture exists in so many different facets, man. And it's cool to be able to kind of recognize them, and then kind of respect them too, because they're there for a reason.
Yo,
The denizens of that hood or whatnot, like it's dope to understand
yeah,
and
yeah.
acknowledge it.
Speaking of respecting it, heck, man. You know what? I haven't started traveling the world like I wanted to. But
Mm-hmm.
when I do, bro, like I already told my lady, like I'm not packing no clothes because when I go down there, I'm doing I'm doing as the Romans do. You know what I'm saying? When
Hey,
in
yeah,
Rome, you do as the Romans do. I'm dressing just like them. What you mean?
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like
I
that.
want to feel it all.
I like that, bro. That's a
You
good
know?
way to indulge yourself into that. To dive deep, man. Is
Yeah.
to look the part. Like you think about it, man, and you look like a janitor. A janitor is equipped for doing janitorial duties. He's wearing
Word,
something
bro.
comfortable, but that he can get around it.
Man, listen, bro. I'm ready to go to Japan, man. Okay.
Hey, yeah, look at that, bro.
Ready to go to Japan, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like it. See,
Nice.
that look good on you too, bro. That's what's up. I like it. But yeah, like so I was saying, like the janitor, the janitor's equipped to do janitorial duty. But then you look at the lawyer and the corporate CEOs, and they're suit and tie, ready to make power moves in the conference room, kind of thing. They
Yeah,
gotta look
yeah.
sharp to play the part. And so yeah, just coming down just to what you're wearing, bro, like the traditional
Yo, word.
clothing
You
of
right, man.
wherever you find yourself. Like that's a damn good way to like introduce yourself and feel it, man. Because then you hear the term, oh god, literally as I'm getting ready to say it, it escaped my mind. But when people are, and this is a tough topic, but um, someone is they're doing a little too much. So you're trying a little too hard, and maybe it'll come to your mind. It literally just escaped me. But people are worried about, oh, if you're wearing what they're wearing, you can't do that. You can't talk like them, and because you're doing too much, kind of thing. But I feel like it's an appreciation for the culture more than anything when you do
Yeah.
that, because like you said, when in Rome, whatnot. How better not to show some respect than to really like feel like, hey, I want to fit in. I want to feel like how you feel. I want to look how you look. I don't want
Yeah.
eyes on me. I just kind of want to just follow along and understand and learn and navigate through your perspective. And that's a good way to do it, man. I feel like just kind of just your attire alone, man. Like you
Yeah.
come up in there rocking some Jordans and shit with a throwback jersey, like, and you out there in the middle of, some random country that just doesn't have that. You're gonna stand out in a weird way.
You know, I was
And,
watching. I was listening to a book. Damn, I wish I remember the name of the book right now. But I was listening to a book, and you know, when I hear about cultures, I like listening. Listening hard. But the reader, the storyteller of this book, he was telling about a time where he was visiting. I want to say he said Italy, and the way they do dinner time out there is different than Americans, right? Like
mhm,
dinner time is more sacred, right? So they're
mhm,
not doing things like watching the phone, playing on their computers, or doing anything when it's dinner time. They're not doing anything other than eating dinner.
mhm.
So he was just busy doing his work, and he brought his laptop into the restaurant. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
he didn't even realize he was doing something wrong until the waitress politely came over and asked, something like, are you finished with your meal? And then he said no. And then she was like, well, sir, if you don't mind, take your laptop over here. The restaurant is for eating. You
Mm,
know what I mean?
okay.
And you
Okay.
know what I mean? He didn't even realize he was doing something wrong. But I was like, yo, that's kind of dope, man. Like, Hector, I'm with that, bro. Bring me somewhere. I'm putting the phone down. I'm following. We sitting out eating dinner, bro. It's dinner time. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just follow suit, man. I gotta see
I
what
like that.
that's how you really feel something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta get into it.
So the word I was looking for was appropriation. Just, so, and I'm gonna just give the Google definition, but it's the action of taking something for one's use, typically without the owner's permission. Um, and that, like, cultural appropriation, you see, this particular group wearing this particular group style's clothing. Anyway, I'm not going to get into detail. I respect it. I like seeing people, like, you look at, like, because Denver is a big hub for this kind of thing. So you look at, like, Comic-Con, right? You see all these people dress up in Superman, Batman. They dress up as different anime characters. I love that because they're respecting that style that was created. Some artist somewhere, some writer somewhere had to piece this thing together, and then one day it gained some traction. It grew. And now you got a team of designers all behind it, making this thing just be what it is. So it's like, fuck yeah, dude. I like when I see people dressed up like Goku, man. That's dope. Like, go ahead and rock it, bro.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and put on the commie shirt, the commie swag, whatever. Like, I'm okay with that because that's just showing the respect to it. But anyway, like you were saying with the restaurant, with the gentleman kind of sitting there. Yeah, there's a lot of things, man, that we're not necessarily well equipped to know. Like you can look up some things and know, okay, like another weird one that I've heard, weird, if you will, whatever. So in some places it's you don't want to make noise when you're eating your food, right? You don't want to be too extra, be polite, be quiet. But then in other countries, um, when you slurp your noodles or something, that's a sign of respect because it's good. So you're giving respect to the chef, kind of thing. So
yeah,
it's that's something that they want to hear because when you're quiet, they're like, man, they don't like it. They feel disrespected.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
really don't know all these things until you kind of get out there and experience them. And I kind of like the way you put that out there, bro. Is when you get there, man, we're gonna learn it right on the spot. We're gonna do as we get there, kind of thing. And so,
Teach me,
yeah, hell yeah,
teach me the
teach me
way,
for
man.
real. And you know what I'm saying? That's a hard thing for a lot of Americans to do because we're so Americanized, man. We're so just we have a very specific way of doing things here that we think, oh, well, that's probably the way it should be around the rest of the world, right? Because we have such a diverse
Yeah,
group
we
of
do.
people here.
Yeah,
And
we
we
do.
think, oh yeah, we're good for it. I'm gonna just go and show up with some flip flops and a Hawaiian hula shirt with a baseball cap, and I'm good. And it's like, you're not really. you gotta dive deep if you're really gonna
Hey
actually
man, don't
show
don't
some
don't go to
respect.
don't go to Boston with no New York Yankee hat on, man. That's what I heard.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't, don't show up in Kansas City wearing some Raiders shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do
I go
that,
in there
man.
with my New York hat. I be like, "What? We are New England Patriots over here. What's the
Oh
problem?"
man, right? It's crazy, man. And
Y'all
that's
have
another
different baseball
culture, man.
team.
That's a whole nother realm of culture, bro. Different teams, different the history that went into it, you know.
Yeah,
So that's why culture is cool, man, because it's cool to like to be aware that it exists, to acknowledge it, and then it's even cooler when you get accepted in, kind of thing. When you're, you know, you feel like you belong, man, because that's, you know, that's something a lot of people struggle with in today's age, is kind of fitting in somewhere. And
yeah.
there's so many things that you can fit
Is
into.
there a struggle, bro? It seems like there's a lot of places, a lot of things to choose to fit into now, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, there are a lot of things to choose to fit into. So, and you won't feel ashamed, you know, because there's like-minded people, especially with the power of the internet, man. The internet brought us so much closer. You know, you
Yeah,
look at Facebook, like we was just talking earlier with Facebook groups. You can go in there, man, and there's probably a Facebook group for something you like. If you can't find it on Facebook, you can probably find it on Reddit. You know what I'm saying? There's
yeah,
lots of ways for you to jump into something and fit in, and then be educated on it, because you might get some education from someone that's really living it day to day. They might be able to give you an original perspective, and that's cool too. And so, yeah, I
yeah,
just, you know what I'm saying? I like all that. And again, you know, full circle, man, the idea of being able to dive deep into culture, and then just the idea of having, you know, a very collaborative nature, man. I feel like everything is just kind of created more with love in that sense. Um, and like you were saying, it takes a village. So when you got to go for a whole summer out to Dominica, man, that's dope, because you got to see it from a very different perspective, bro. Like, you know, these people
yeah.
are on an island, man, and all the island struggles that come with being on an island. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, you don't get your food just right from the drive-through, bro. Like you were saying, you want to get a fruit, you want to get some mango, you better get your ass up that tree and go
Yeah.
get it, kind of
I
thing.
wasn't mad about it, man. Go
No.
right and snatch up a sugar cane myself. It was right there.
Hey, yep. Oh man, I remember the first time I had sugar cane, bro. Holy shit, that was different, bro. I was with it though. I was like, oh my god, what is
They
this,
messed up when they showed me the sugar cane, bro. I was over there. I had one every day, man, a whole stick. Okay.
bro? Tear that thing up for real. But it's cool. Yeah, it's dope
Yo,
to see that, man. Like,
Mother Nature cooked it up for you, bro. It's ready. Look, man, I've
it's
been
ready.
growing it for you here. Just come pick it off the
No,
tree,
just,
man.
just come chop it off, man. Just
Come chop
bong,
it
you're
off,
good
man. It's for
for
you.
it. Yeah, I loved it, man. And that's what's cool, man. That's what I love most about it, because you know, I love to eat, man. So I like, you know, I like different cuisine, man. There's some cuisines I can do, some I can't, you know. So like I typically stay away from seafood. I don't do seafood. I've
Yeah.
tried Mediterranean, you know, they pretty decent. I've tried different types of Japanese style food, Jamaican foods. I've,
Oh
you know,
yeah. I
I
mean, yo,
grew
you
up,
know what? Bridgeport is actually good for that, man. If you guys want like
yes.
a mixture of different types of food, we got Haitian food, Jamaican
Mm-hmm.
food, Vietnamese. We got a little bit
Yep.
of everything. They started making some ramen noodles out here, bro.
I remember what was that, off Main Street, bro? There was this Cuban place that made sandwiches, man. Oh my god, like they had the best sandwiches on the planet, bro. And then that little Chinese shop, bro, the little Asian shop, just up there off Fairfield Ave, man. That we used to always go to when we was younger, bro. I can't even remember what it was called, man, but we was up
Oh,
in there
you talking
all the
about China
time.
Sky?
Is that yeah? It's still there, right?
Oh yeah, it's still there,
Oh
man.
man, see that, loved it, bro. I remember, Frank, we used to like shit. It would be late, bro, like 9, 10 p.m. and we'd walk over to the Wawas and we'd go get a sandwich cooked up or something.
For real, man.
And those, yo, they used to slap, bro. Those things were so good, man. Oh
Yo, this
my
steak and cheese
god.
is still good, man. Depending on the cooking there, yo.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
I love that, bro. And that. You're right, bro. That was one of the best parts of growing up, is we had exposure to a lot of different cuisine, man. A lot of different cultured food items,
I like learning
and
about
it was,
cultures through the cooking, bro. I love learning about
yeah,
cultures through the cooking, man.
yeah, me too, bro.
Feed me. Teach me
For
about your
real.
culture.
Yeah, I
Oh,
spend a lot of money on
it's
food,
delicious,
man. So like,
man.
yeah. So yeah, it's cool, man. Because yeah, you're introduced in a lot of different ways, man, and that it's just enriching for the soul, bro. You know, it opens your mind up, it opens your heart up. I feel like that's a cool way to be introduced to the world around you. You know what I'm saying? It's just diving deep into, you know, something that just literally could be right next door and you never knew it because you ain't want to say hi to your neighbors. You know,
Yeah,
we gotta be
yeah.
careful with that, man.
Hey, yo, heck, man. You changing topics and shifting gears there a little bit, right?
Mm-mm.
Just want to go on a weird one with you, man. Did you know? Now, I'm just realizing this, man. Everybody else might be on to this before me, but did you know that Twitter is no longer Twitter, bro?
So yes and no, because I know that it got recently purchased. It got bought out. And when it got bought out, it went under some heavy fucking changes. Like all sorts of things was changing. Now I can't say that I do know because I've never been on Twitter. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
ever gonna be on Twitter.
No, you're never
Um,
gonna be on Twitter now, bro. It's no longer Twitter, man. It's called X.
it's called X. Oh man, see that's
I
Elon.
don't know how. Yeah, how do you like? I want the Hector. He went from Twitter. Elon Musk brought it. He went from Twitter to just X.
I mean, yo, he got SpaceX. He's got Tesla. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude is trying to
Oh,
brand the world, man.
but like, yo, people used to say, "I'm gonna tweet. I'm about to tweet somebody." What they gonna say? I'm gonna X somebody now?
Oh, ooh, ooh, I don't
I
know about
mean,
that one, right?
yeah. Well,
Yep.
they had a cute little bird up there, man. Now you got this masculine just X up there. Like, what is that, yo?
Yeah. See, I don't even know, man. I did not know that it was called X, and yeah, that's from a campaign, from a marketing point of view. You don't want to X somebody, bro. Like what? Like what color is this? As a red X? Are we coming after
Hey,
somebody?
what,
Like you know they got the
what are
loot.
we
We
doing
coming for
here, man?
treasure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that, man. That's more reason for me to not get up on there. But I know that it's been a platform that lots of people use and still do.
Yeah,
So I'm sure it's one of these things, man. Like it, it's either it's gonna survive, it's gonna adapt, or it dies, and are we gonna really miss it?
listen, man. All somebody gotta do is come up with another catchy name and do the same thing Twitter's doing, and everybody jumping ship over there, man.
Probably. It's probably already happening too, for all we know,
For
bro.
real, man.
Probably happening.
Twitter
And
X. What does that mean? You can't X
yeah,
somebody.
I don't
If
know. I
you
don't.
X somebody, man, that almost sound like you dusting them off, bro. That's it for
Right, that's it.
them.
You
About to
out
X
of
this dude,
here.
yeah.
X's, right? You put the EX, man. Yeah, you're out of here, bro. You're not coming back, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't. Who knows? Who knows why? Who knows why they do what they do sometimes, man.
For real, man.
But I did not know that it was called X, and I'm probably gonna watch it now and see what happens with that. What do we call it
Yeah.
when you wanna
Hey,
when
maybe
you
I should
wanna
go
talk
buy
to
some
somebody?
stocks, man.
Hey, yeah, see, that's money moves, man. So when we move with intention, you got to move your money with intention too, y'all. Just keep that in mind. Be
Word.
careful, be mindful of where you put your money, because we live in a world that's a little too volatile, bro. Like I got stocks in a whole lot of tech, man. I like the tech and I like the industry. I got a little bit in Amazon kind of thing, and it's cool to see how that changes, how that grows, where it's coming, where it's going, kind of shit. That's a fun thing to do, but it's stressful too. So I try not to
Word.
watch it all day, every day, man. But yeah, it's wild. This world we live in, man. It's just X's and O's, man. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Dollar signs, X's and O's. Where are we going? Kind of thing. It's I don't know, man. I like the world we live in some ways, because I like seeing the just the advances we make as a species. I know I'm going left here, bro. I'm going real left. So when we were at Evelyn's soccer game last week, man, we had a bunch of fighter jets flying above us, because where we were at, we were close to an Air Force base, and they got lots of fighter jets and helicopters and all sorts of shit just going in and out, whatever, doing stuff. And right where we were, they were kind of circling around us above head, and you couldn't really see them, but you could hear them. And you would hear them take off in one direction and come back. And then one time they came down and we could see them really close. And they were in formation doing just some wild shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, holy shit, there is a person inside that thing right now, moving at those speeds, fucking turning and just doing like, yo, that is incredible, bro. I love seeing that shit, because we built that. You know what I'm saying? Humans built that shit. And then
Yeah.
for it to be up there doing the shit that it does, man, that human ingenuity is incredible, bro. And so being alive nowadays, I think it's a really cool thing to see. It's scary because, you know, we got a lot of people power tripping, a lot of egos clashing and shit, man, just kind of just not being
man.
okay, you know, but it's still cool to see the technological advances, man. Like, you know, we got phones, we got laboratories out there where people are building, you know, robot arms because someone was born with a defect or someone went to war and lost something, and now they
Yeah, bro.
got robot
I seen
arms.
some nonsense on that too, bro. I remember I'm reading an article or something about some guy who won a race that had like one like mechanical leg or whatever.
Yeah, yep,
And then
yep.
people were talking about he had an unfair advantage. I'm like, what? I'm like, yo,
Oh
do
man, come
they,
on.
do they do this just for like what do
Just for
they
the
do this
clout.
for? Like,
For the clout, bro. That's it. That's all they
yeah,
do it for, man. People just be wilding. I like seeing that kind of stuff, man. I like seeing because that's a really good way to look at like a second chance. Because I couldn't imagine how devastating
yo,
something like that is, bro. To lose a limb, you know what I'm saying? Lose a
yo,
hand, lose a
Hector, those
oof.
people like that should be the biggest motivation we all have. Like, you know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep,
We
yep.
sitting around and complaining we got all our limbs, but there's a guy out there who's like building a happy life for himself. He ain't got no bottom half. He runs with just his arms, bro.
Yep,
That's not
yep.
inspiring like this to somebody to
For
get moving,
real.
yo.
To
You know
stay
what I
to
mean?
stay moving, man. And yeah, you got half of your shit working for you. That's motivation, if not, yo.
Yo, Hector, in a lot of ways, right? This gentleman is okay. Maybe you don't see him as a full man in the physical sense, but this guy is persevering, man. That's a man, bro. He has the spirit of a man. Where some of us are, you know, we have a full body, but you know what I mean. Our spirit is still childish.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that
Yeah,
shit's inspiring for me, man. I like watching stuff like that, man.
I do too, bro. It's just incredible, man. Because like, you know what I'm saying? We got all sorts of things. Everybody, whether you're missing an arm, whether you got trauma from your past, we're all dealing with something,
Something,
you know, up
yeah.
here, all of us. And so when you see someone dealing with something up here, but then physically too, and they're still doing, that just tells you, that proves that you there are no excuses, man. There really are none. The excuse, you made it. You made your own excuse and you validated your excuse to live within that. And I love seeing that people that, yeah, dude has one arm, no arms, no legs, whatnot, you know, man, woman, whatever. And they still are able to make some accomplishment out of the things they want to do by just not giving up, man. Because, yo, that's the difference between us and them is, man, they didn't quit. You know what I'm saying? So if we quit, then we put ourselves in a whole different category. If we keep going, then we can be like them too, kind of thing. And
Or
them could be anybody, don't matter who, but don't quit. That's all I'm
don't
saying is
quit. Yeah,
can't quit, man. I don't have that quitter nature, bro. And you said something a bunch of weeks back, bro. Like you never fail. You know, you got a bunch of works in progress, bro, because you never fail. And I love that. I love that idea, man, and that
word, bro.
mentality. Because you know what? I didn't give up. I just can't focus on it right now. I'm gonna come back to it, kind of thing. And I
Come
like
back
that.
to it, yeah,
Yep.
possibly. Yep.
And that's a good way to go about it, bro. Like, but then you know, at some point we did say another couple weeks back, you know, you got to know when to quit because sometimes something is not too healthy. So I feel like there's a good fine line between, and I feel like only the individual dealing with that circumstance can know when quitting is necessary and when it's, you know, not okay to give up, kind of thing. But like, if you can keep pushing and keep pushing, you know what I'm saying? Especially if there is some benefit to everyone involved, you know, and you're practicing with intent, then keep fucking going, man. That's cool to be able to do that, and that's, you know, I want to be part of that culture, man. Just, you know, I don't give up. I don't give up. I
Yeah.
want to be that. I want to be in that culture. If it exists, I'm gonna be in
Hey
that.
man, you know what? Heck, we building our own culture. You know what, guys? I'm gonna put out there. I'm gonna put out there my aspirations. Right.
Mm,
I am a father of two biologically, and like yo, these are two young men. I had two boys. I was blessed with two boys, and I just want to see them get ahead faster than I've gotten ahead. You know what I mean?
mm,
And I know there's a lot of youth probably right about now are a little confused about what the next step is in life, what they want to who they want to be, what they want to accomplish, and I want to help them get ahead as well. You know what I mean? I have plans coming up for the upcoming year. I'm gonna take the summer Sunday I've been doing this year. Next year, I want to offer myself for free to any teen above a certain age that want to come work out with me at the park. Why not? You know what I mean? Come
Mm-hmm.
come take a note from me. You know what I mean? Come talk to me. Maybe I could share with you some of my experience. Imagine a 20-year-old who thinks like a 40-year-old. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Who?
Making big
How far ahead
moves.
is he gonna be by the time he's 40? Because we already know he's gonna be retired.
He gonna be
Whatever.
retired, bro.
You know what I'm
He gonna be already
saying? He'll
retired.
be
Shit.
beyond retired. He's gonna be a full blown philanthropist at the age of 40. Like,
Mm-hmm. That's word, man. That's real.
you know what? I want to be part of. I want to be part of that, and I want to also meet some other men who just think like me. Like, yo, we have a role to play, man. You know what I mean.
Yeah, we
we
do.
lived enough. We lived enough life. We have enough experience. We should be able to explain to these kids, in a way so that they're getting ahead. What to watch out for, the mistakes we had. Like, come learn from us. Come learn from our
Oh yeah.
mistakes. Come learn from our successes. Like, if you know what I mean. If you have that mentor spirit, if you got that big brother spirit, man, I want to find you guys too, man. So we
Oh
can
yeah.
link up and make something happen for the next gen, man.
That's
Or
it.
next
That's
gens.
it. Next gens, bro. Hell yeah. All of them. All of it inclusive, bro. Because I'm not, while my son is here, man, while our sons and our daughters are here, man, I want them to be good. But I'm really thinking about, like, you know what, man? When I really think back on it, y'all, life as a child, as an adolescent, as a teenager, was hard, man. Like, because that was the life I knew. I didn't know what adulthood was bringing me, and then when I got into adulthood, I'm like, fuck, I miss that. I
Yeah,
want to go
yeah.
back to when I didn't have to pay bills.
You
You know what
know
I'm
what,
saying?
bro? You did your adulthood pretty much in Colorado, right?
Yeah, pretty much all of it. Pretty much all of it, man. And so, like I want to be, more mindful that, it's hard for them now. So let's not why not prepare them for what we understand now as adults, so that when they get to it, they're ready. But then they're better for their children because they can start their process much sooner. So, like Frankie's saying, if we teach our sons how to think like they're in the 40s when they're in their 20s, how are they going to teach their children? Holy shit, man. Like, generational wealth, that's how it starts, right? So, yeah,
Yeah, gotta
I
plant the
like,
seeds, man. This is where I'm trying to
indeed.
plant them seeds, bro. All up in here, man.
Shit, man. There's a lot up in there, bro. And it's funny too, yo. Like, last night, man, me and my ladies, we got to hang out and we got to watch a Studio Ghibli movie, man. I love Studio Ghibli, bro. Again, culture, bro. Love me some Ghibli, bro. And we got to watch a movie called Whisper of the Heart. I've watched a shit ton of Studio Ghibli movies, man. I have never watched this one. And so I got to sit down and watch that. And the message in there was just this young girl, young boy, and they were just kind of living life. They were just some kids that just grew up in this little town out there in the east somewhere. And the traditional route is to go to school and get good grades and get a good job, and that's all that matters. And these two kids that you watch in this movie were like, man, I want to be more than that. I want to do something more than that. Like, so this boy was really good at crafting violins. That was his passion. That's what he wanted to be excellent at. This little girl was a writer. She wanted to be good at it. But the only way to be good at something is by doing that something, right? And so they kind of encouraged and inspired each other to chase that opportunity, to be better, to chase your
Oh yeah,
dream kind of
they
shit.
became like accountability partners or
They
something,
became,
bro.
in some way, they became accountability, which is so cool, bro. Like, I took so much from that. And this is a film from like 95 or something, man. So it's been around a while. But I suggest, if y'all got kids, younger kids, teenage kids, like, sit down and watch that with them. Because again, I've said it before, man, the content you consume is food for thought, man. So if you want to consume
Word.
something healthy, man, put them in front of something that's going to be mindful and talk to them. Because the movie's got teenage kids in it, and you see mom and dad and you see school and all these adults around them doing adult things. But then you also see these kids like wanting to be better than and trying to break the traditional normal and do something more. And there was so much love and support from their parents, man. And that made me happy, bro. Cause I'm like, yo, I want to be that parent. I want to
Yeah.
support the hell out of my child. Chase what you want, and I got you. Y'all watch that movie. Again, it's a Studio Ghibli movie called Whisper of the Heart, man. It was incredible. Yo, that's a 20 out of 10, bro, hands down. So just it's
Yeah.
good shit out there, man. And that's the kind of parent I want to be, man. I want to set my children up for success in the future, bro. And I wish I would have been in the mind frame to do that sooner. But you know what? I'm okay with it being right here and now because I'm mindful and moving with intent. I got my accountability partner to keep me on track. You know what I'm saying? And that's the moves we make. And so, like Frankie said earlier, man, if any of y'all out there watching and are really interested in like collaborating and trying to get that message out there, y'all, let's do that. Let's link
Let's
up
do it.
and get it out there, man. Because this world is going to be better with it, man. Hands down, I believe that 100%. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
Yo, heck, man, it's like it's real nice moving with intention, right? So one of my big things is building independence, right?
Mm-hmm.
For my boys, like I want them to build habits that have them moving for themselves. They don't need nobody to move. You know what I mean? Um, my youngest son, Hector, my youngest son, Dylan, right?
uh,
He started his first job, bro, and this kid. It's so funny because I see him spend money on clothes and stuff like that, but he does not forget to save. He don't forget to save, and
mm-hmm.
this kid saved up enough money to buy him a scooter. Now
Say,
he's a little more independent. He could jump on his scooter and go. Only thing I ask is, "Hey, Dad," to tell me, "Hey, Dad, you know what I mean? Now, Dad, I'm making these moves, whatever."
yep,
But
yep.
I love seeing that. I love seeing that I talked to him about saving for his own thing, which is something I wasn't good at myself, bro. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't buying myself no scooter when I was 16. I was still a spoiled little brat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If I got it, my parents got it for me possibly. You know what I mean? Nah, no. So I
yeah.
was working for myself by the time I was 16, but I wasn't buying those scooters,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it was dope to see my son do that. He brought the scooter, still had money left over, like, and then I told you since summer Sunday, I've been asking them to come with me. This dude since he got his scooter, he done been to the park 3-4 times without me, bro. He just get up, he just say, "Dad, I'm going to the
Hey,
park. I'm gonna go work out." Like, oh, okay,
that's yo.
bet. You know what I'm saying? It's dope, man.
Big ups,
So
bro. That's super dope, man. He's
it's
moving,
dope
bro.
to
By the
see,
time
man.
he's 20, he's gonna be thinking like he's in his 40s, bro. So good job, Frank, because
Yo,
that's dope.
next big one is I told him to start saving for his car, man. Maybe he'll have it before, like by the time he start his senior year. He going into his junior
Hey,
year now. Maybe he'll have it by the time he start his senior year. That'd be dope
maybe.
too.
And now he's got that scooter, so yo, he can move a little bit further away from home and get a little bit more money from somewhere doing something different. You know what I'm saying? So like that's,
Word.
you've already kind of instilled that concept, bro. Like the more you move, the more you can get, kind of thing. And yo, he did it for himself. That's incredible, Frank.
Yeah,
Yo,
man. It's
you
nice
got
to
to
see,
feel
bro.
so proud,
It's
bro. I
nice to
feel
be part of
proud,
that,
man.
man.
Shit.
I want to
Yeah.
be part. I want to be part of that more, man. Not just my own, bro. Yo,
Yeah, fuck yeah. I want to see
you know,
everybody eat, man. Everybody get a
for
piece of
real.
this pie, man. Hell
We all
yeah.
could, man.
We all could. Absolutely. It's plenty, man. It's sweet in the middle, too. Shit, let's get up in there, right? Love it, bro. That's dope, Frank. Good job, man. Big ups to the homie, man. That's cool,
Appreciate it,
man.
man.
That's real cool. I'm I'm gonna get there too with mine. I still got a couple
Hey,
years.
man.
He's still young.
Take your time, man. Don't rush them up. But you know what?
Nah. Yep.
It's definitely one of the conversations I actually be having with one of my kids' mothers, right? Is I tell them like, yo, you know how they there's an old saying that's something about like, being stuck between being a boy and a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when a kid turns into a teenager, he's literally the physical embodiment of being stuck in between being a boy and a man.
True.
So the way I see things is like you could either keep treating them like a child and holding their hands and you know what I mean, doing for them,
Mm.
or you can let them get into a habit. Not saying like just let them go off by themselves, but let them get
Yeah,
into
no,
a
no, no.
habit of doing for themselves because that's the only thing that's coming as you become an adult. You got to start making decisions for yourself. You got
Yep.
to start saving for yourself. You got to start You got to start doing for yourself. You got to be able to maintain and handle yourself. So you might as well start the habits in your teens of doing for yourself. You know what I mean? And stop and don't let them become a child when it's
Mm-mm.
convenient to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You,
Oh, that's good.
you know they want to they want to be big man and stay out all night, but then when it's time to go to work the next day, they want you to give them a ride. Bro, you came in late last night. Why don't you, same way you came in, go figure out how to get to work. You know what I'm
So it's
saying?
that thing we talked about, bro. Natural consequence.
Yeah,
So that's exactly what that is. You want to make adult decisions, then you got to deal with adult consequences. And that's
yeah,
just what it is. That's just the nature of it all. Because we spend most of our lives as adults than we do as a child. So in that small time frame, we do have them as as children, as teenagers. That's our job to teach them. That's our job to equip them to be able to go ahead and do that shit alone. And you know what? It's okay for them to call and ask for advice every now and then. Hey, what should I do? What do you think? That's what we're supposed to do. Because you're a parent for
yeah,
life, bro. Once you become a parent, you're a parent for life. But when you move out into the world and you start making adult moves, man, it could either be empowering or that could just be the end of it all, man. Because if they're not equipped for it, that shit will crush you. And so I
yeah,
believe that, Frank. I'm with you on that, bro. Empowering them and teaching them how to make decisions young, so that it's only second nature when they get older, and that's not even a thought
yeah.
they got to put into it because they're just ready for it.
Yeah,
So
and you can monitor them at that point too. Like
yeah,
make sure they're doing it right now. So when they go off in the world, they decide to go to college and across state. They know how to handle. You seen
yep,
them handle their account.
yeah.
You know
You're
how they
not
know
gonna
how to
leave the
handle their
stove
account.
on
They
and
good.
burn the house down, kind of shit, right? You know how to cook
Yeah,
up some ramen. You know how to go ahead and communicate. You set them up for success. I agree
yeah,
1,000%, bro.
yeah.
So that's the plan for all of them, man. My kids, your kids, kids that ain't my kids are your kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
All of
real,
them.
man. Whoever willing to listen, man. Y'all want to take a tip from some people that been there before, know a little something. You know what I mean on life experience. Just like I like to talk to my elders, bro, because
Mm-hmm.
no matter what their life is like, they are wiser than me when it comes to life experiences. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yep.
And so and it's not to say I take everything they say. I think for myself. I like to think for myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely take in what they say. Back to that other saying: you eat the meat and spit out the bones. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And that's all it is. Do the same when it comes. If we're teaching you something, do the same thing, man. Eat the meat, spit out the bones, man.
Yeah.
That's
Take
it.
what works for you. Hell yeah. Because it ain't gonna work for everybody, but there are parts that's gonna work for some people. So take it. Take what you will, man, and make that work, man. Shit. You can't water all plants in the same manner. Some like the
Nah,
dark. Some don't like
nah.
water at all. You gotta just kind of do what you can for each, and you got to be aware of the situation and what it requires, man. You only learn that by being in the moment, being right here, right now.
Yeah.
Shit. But yo, we at an hour 7, bro. That happened
Oh
quick.
yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
Well,
get
hey,
us
you
up
want to go
out
ahead
of
and close
here.
this out, man?
Yeah, man. So hey, all y'all who came through and let us borrow some time, we'll see y'all next week on Peace of Your Mind. Much love, man.